It was the 1990s, a big show in a small town off I-75 in Georgia. They were called the biggest cocks in the henhouse. But things have changed since then. It's been 30 years, and they finally found a home here, like everyone else, doing a podcast. It's Erica and Mark, the phone call podcast thing.
Hello?
Hey.
Hey, Mark, is that you?
Yeah.
Is it time to do this already?
Yeah.
I sound loud. Why do I sound loud?
I don't know. You don't sound loud on my headphones.
Check, Mark. There we go. I'm. You know what it is?
What's that?
I did something.
What did you do?
Well, after I moved, I found a bunch of stuff, and it might sound.
Oh,
a
you
little
did
like
not. You did not.
Buffalo over Houston by 1.
Okay.
Philadelphia by 1 over Green Bay.
There
Okay.
it goes.
Miami by 6 over the.
We sound absolutely horrible.
Who was doing the sports? Oh,
I don't know.
did we get stuck with one of those where we had to pay? We got paid advertising we didn't get paid for, and we had to bring some guy on that was going to give his odds.
That does sound.
And then you
that
called
sounds
the
about
number
right.
for
You're
the
the
big
one that
pick.
produced the show, man. I don't know. I just showed up, just like now. This is different. This is no different.
Okay, no. Well, no. Who was that?
Who
That
was
was
what?
talking.
I don't know who that was. Here,
I thought it
here's
was
the-
one
At every couple of minutes. I think it's like,
That's me.
what is it, like a minute and a half or 2 minutes?
Yes, it's something like that.
Yeah, there's a
All right, these are just little random things that I'm just playing right now. I'll go through some of this if you really want to.
I had a good
And then-
radio speaking voice, or was that just morning Mark?
That was Morning Mark. Were
Not to
you?
be
Were
confused
you?
with
Were you
Morning
still?
Wood.
Yeah. I assume you were just still drinking back then. I don't know.
Yeah, I might have been. That might have been hungover, Mark.
Yeah,
I
we
was
saw-
still drinking back then.
We saw hungover Mark once or twice, didn't we?
Oh yeah, Mark had to run between when two songs were playing to go throw up.
Is that what you? I thought you were snorting coke off the bathroom, off the commode.
No, always in the back smoking too. Don't forget about that. Fun
Oh, you
that
did
I
smoke a
picked up.
lot.
Yeah, had all kinds of stuff going on.
You were the king of bad habits.
Yes, I was. I was.
Good for you.
I was narrowing them down. I didn't have any ones that were going to. Well, no, some of those would still kill me. I was narrowing them down though.
Which ones?
I was working my way down. The last thing I quit was cigarettes. So booze was the one before that. So, but you remember, my drinking was not like a normal drinker.
Well,
Like,
it
I
didn't
go home
really
and have a
affect our
beer.
show. It didn't affect us.
No, I didn't go home and have a beer. I never drank with food. I never drank at Christmas parties, especially office Christmas parties. Because when I would drink,
Oh, that's not true. We had a
It
couple
was
of
game
street
on.
parties. No, when you were drinking at some of those street parties we had.
oh, was
Yeah.
I?
Oh,
God,
yeah.
that's not.
Yeah.
Right. That's not good.
Jägermeister at the Rookery, buddy.
Oh, afterwards, you mean?
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Yes.
The Jaeger. That was my drug of choice.
We were
at
all
one time.
drinking Jaeger back then.
You could actually chew that stuff.
Oh, tasted. I don't know how we did it, man. Now when I smell that stuff, it's one of those like, did you ever smell something and want to immediately throw up?
Yes.
That's it for me right there, Jaeger.
Yes.
I can't do it.
Actually, I just now to the point now where, and it's been a while, but last week when we talked, I was trying to get some kind of head cold going, and I was not feeling well, and I took NyQuil before I went to bed, and that's the first time I've had NyQuil as a cold remedy
Mark, there's alcohol in that.
in my life.
There's alcohol in that.
I know, because I used to use NyQuil was my 3-day binger, time to go to sleep.
Jesus,
medicine.
really?
Yes.
That's a thing?
Well, yeah, I would be on a 3-day coke bender, and I needed to go to sleep.
There's so
and
much I
alcohol
don't know.
just didn't work.
Ah.
But NyQuil would boom. You're
Don't
asleep
give- hey.
after that cocaine buzz.
Don't give the kids ideas.
Yeah, you don't do this at home. I'm telling you, the only reason why I'm alive is by the grace of God. Honestly, I should have been dead or in jail or something a long, long time ago.
Dead in jail.
So dead and in jail. Yeah,
Yeah,
at
you-
the same time.
You got to be. I have a theory about jail that I figured out when I was doing all the prison talent show judging that you would never do.
No, I was at a fear of jail.
Yeah, no, seriously. They would ask us to do this every year at this medium security prison, and Mark would never go.
Nope.
And I didn't know why. Because it's not like you're going into like this, like, it's not frickin' Alcatraz.
No.
It was like an open campus with like apartments in the middle and a big yard, and there was a big gymnasium and people walking around. Everybody was calm. Nobody was fighting there. I didn't see any rapes. I mean, it seemed kind of a depressing place. But what I did learn though is
You
jail
didn't see
is
any
for
rapes.
right. Jail is not some place where a lot of smart people go. What are you trying to visualize the rapes? Is that what you're doing?
I'm just thinking it's like you didn't say there wasn't any.
I don't know everything that goes on in there, but
Have you ever spent any time in jail?
no.
I
Other
told you
than-
my holding tank story. with
No, tell me
prostitution.
don't.
I
No.
told you that.
When?
Yes, I did. I
Tell
told you
me
a couple
again.
of shows ago.
I don't remember what I had for lunch today.
When we when we came out of that nightclub that was over there on where Federal Highway was coming up towards the right past 84, and it was
Okay.
just getting ready to go to where the airport is, and
Yeah,
there was that
I
nightclub
don't care.
that's back
I
in the
don't care
back.
where it is. Tell me about the whores.
And right there in that long part of Dixie Highway or
Yeah.
Federal Highway, US 1, was where the whores would all hang out, just outside of, right before the airport, but just before you get to downtown.
Yeah.
And we were coming out of a bar, and somebody said that they thought that the girl said, "Would you like to have a good time?" And somebody thought it'd be funny
Uh-huh.
to say, "How about all 5 of us for a quarter?" Like this was Dodge.
So
and beers were a nickel.
so then a cop saw it, or she was a cop?
No,
What
she was
it?
a cop.
Oh, you know what, Mark? I actually lied to you. I do remember this story. I just
Okay,
wanted you
yeah.
to tell it again.
You try to verify that it's true? Trust me, I lived.
I'm trying. Yeah, I'm trying to make sure. Yeah. Mom, can you come pick us up?
But yeah, I had a fear. I had a fear of death, and I had a fear of lightning.
What about
And
a
I
fear
had
of prostitution?
jail.
Fear of prostitution? You have that?
No,
Uh-huh.
but not even after that. But I
so
know.
you're selective about your fears, is what I'm hearing.
Yes, very.
I don't know why you couldn't go. They invited us when you go in. You go into the main area.
Were we
and
like
they're
stars in the prison too? Like if we had ratings books there, we would probably did pretty well.
You don't remember the collect calls we used to get from the jail?
Oh yeah, that's true. I remember the one guy who would always call for 30 days in a hole.
Yes,
By Humble
that's
Pie.
Right. Yes, but we would always make them say, "All right, what did you do? What got you there? We know
I
we're
do
paying for this
remember
call."
that. That's right.
Yeah, we would get calls from the jails and the prisons all the time. We were number 1 in the prisons.
I should have went.
You should have.
There's a lot of regrets I have. Obviously, a lot of regrets that I wish I didn't do things, but there's some things I wish I would have went.
That made me less afraid of going to prison than I ever, because that's always been one of my biggest fears. It's like something happens and I end up in prison. That's like, I think that's a lot of people's biggest fear.
Yeah.
One of them. When you think, well, what I learned about this is like, oh no, these people are stupid. You're not stupid like they are, because the stupid ones are the ones who get caught. But then I remember that there was this one guy, this tall, good looking guy, like good hair, good, like
Right.
a movie star chin. And he was, like just working on building up his muscles, I guess. And I said, "What about that guy? He doesn't look stupid." He's like, "Oh, that guy's tragic." I'm like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "Oh, that guy, he was a lawyer, a stockbroker, some big job he had up in Atlanta. And he had a couple glasses of wine with dinner, and he was driving home, and it was dark and raining, and somebody just wandered out in front of his car on a dark, rainy road, and he hit him and killed him."
Yeah.
And because he had alcohol on his breath, he blew like just over the legal limit. So he got charged with DUI manslaughter and went to prison for 10 years. The guy was just a successful guy, a wife and kids, driving a new BMW. Nah, prison for you. After a couple glasses of wine, wreck wasn't even his fault.
Oh my!
But
gosh.
that's the only guy in there that I saw that wasn't or that was not like you're not real smart, are you? How did you get in here? Yeah. And
You
then
didn't say that while you're in there, did you?
no, but I was thinking it. And I would talk to the guys. We all got assigned a guard to protect us while we were there.
Right.
And I'd say, what about that guy? What did he do? And they have all their stories like, oh, that guy. I'm like, come on, dude, you could tell me. I won't talk about it on the radio. I just want to know. And they would tell me all these stories about how these guys got in there and what they did. And they were like, oh, yeah, he's harmless. Don't worry about it. But if you see that guy coming at you, you make sure that I'm close by. And I'm like, what? What does that mean? And then he wouldn't elaborate.
And a lot of these guys were frequent flyers, right?
Yeah, a lot of them were familiar to the crew. They were repeat offenders. But it made me comfortable in knowing it's like, okay, so I have less of a chance of going to jail because, I mean, I know I'm not the smartest person in the world, but I ain't stupid either.
Right. Well, I think that was one of my thing. I'm sure it had something to do with the fact that I had broken so many laws that I felt like I was, if I got too close, they would figure it out and throw me in there and go, "Weren't you the guy that?" And I'd have to say yes.
Yeah, I had a cop pull me over one time, and I said, "What did I do?" He's like, "I'm gonna give you a citation for tremendous potential," and I thought that was really funny.
Pickup line?
I thought it was funny. I did not get a ticket though. Tremendous. I still use that joke. I got.
The only time I've never have I gotten out of a ticket? I don't think I've ever gotten a ticket except for one.
You got to flash your boobs.
It was in a state. Well, yeah, but I'm an A cup at best.
No, you're a very hairy man too. Probably don't do that. You're right. Never mind.
Gross.
Yeah.
But I know I was in Hattiesburg, and I was taking a station van to go to a car lot remote.
You got pulled over in the van?
Yes, and I was running behind, and they got me at 55 in a 45.
Oh.
On a highway, but still, it's a 45-mile-an-hour highway.
In Mississippi.
Yes. So the guy pulls me over, and he gets out of his car. Was it a motorcycle? No, it was a car. And he comes up to me and goes, driver's license registration. And I knew right away, we're not talking.
Hmm.
Yeah, sorry about that, officer. Yeah, your driver's license registration.
You're had at that
you're
point.
Getting it.
Yeah.
So one of the sales girls at the station, her husband at the time was a highway patrolman.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So you know how we always know how to work the system a little bit.
Sure.
So I called up. I called her up and told her what happened. She goes, "Well, let me talk to my husband and see what he can do. And what's name on a ticket and who's that? Who was it? And this and that." I said, "Okay." And then I didn't hear from her. So the next day I see her in the hallway at work, and she goes, yeah.
He's kind of a hard ass. Yeah.
Yes. And he's, he does, he would literally like pull over another officer, and they're not getting even professional courtesy. So you're kind of stuck with that ticket.
You tried.
Like, crap. So I tell the story on the air, not everything, but this is the part what I did,
right,
and stuff like that. And I had another cop call me from Hattiesburg Police Department. Says, "Hey, listen, I know he's a tough one, but he's really big into the what was it was it the March of Dimes that used to put the money in the trunk of the car back in the day?
Yeah,
thing,
I
right?
do. Yes,
he's really big into that. That's his charity thing, and he says if I tell him that you'll like get behind it 1,000%. And help him collect his money and stuff like that, and do all. And it's a charity for station. So
and you're like, oh hell yeah, why wouldn't I do that?
Publicity too, and I'm out of a ticket.
Yeah,
because we'll go and we'll do that. And I go, yeah. I would do it anyway, but if it can help, that's great.
And you still talk to this man to this day?
No. I just did what I did. It
would have been a better story if you'd lied to me and said, "Yeah, we're still friends."
And all that, and that was the end of it. But there was one time in Mississippi that I ran into, like, I don't gonna say where it was because this is a really bad place to be. No matter
is this a you ain't from around here, are you, boy story?
No matter what color you are. On this
telephone.
Yeah, that's my thing. Keeps wanting to go back to my phone. I don't understand that.
Just turn the Bluetooth off on your phone.
Oh, is that how that works?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, Grandpa.
Thank you.
I think it's the flash.
I think it's the flash.
Oh, man.
Okay, Bluetooth off. There we go.
There you go.
I'm moving from the station in Hattiesburg because I'm going to go to work for Cumulus in Columbus,
which is hours and hours away.
Mississippi. Yeah, it's up near Tupelo.
Okay.
So I got a truck that I had bought, an old beat up Toyota I bought for $1,000 off a farmer, and I got my dad's trailer, and I've got a lot of the furniture because I'm bringing the family up now, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So you stop at this traffic light. It's a flashing red on both sides, all four sides.
Okay, so 4-way stop.
And it's a split highway. Okay, so you got the picture, right? So it's a highway, two lanes going both ways, meeting in the middle, big flashing red light.
What did you do?
Everyone stopped. So
Allegedly.
I stopped, and then I went. And as I was leaving, here comes this car whipping behind me, and the light goes on. The light's going. So I pull up the side of the road. I said, I don't know what I did. I did stop. I mean, I counted 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, 3 Mississippi.
Well, now this was in the 90s. Did you collaborate and listen? No?
No.
That's what you were charged with. Non-collaboration, non-listening.
Listening. So I pull over. My wife at the time pulls over behind me, and he's having a cow about that.
Oh, geez.
Get going. You got to get going. You can't stop anywhere. You just keep driving to your destination. And your husband, it's like, and she doesn't know what a destination is.
She's like, I don't know. I don't know where we're going, Poppy.
You know, exactly. So he makes me get out of the car, and my kid's in the car.
Uh-oh.
And David is like, I don't know, 4,
Yeah.
5. He wasn't even in, was he now? He might have been in elementary school, so it might have been 5 or 6.
So what'd you do? You get out and they're like, we're going to call Child Protective Services on
he
you.
searches me, looks through my stuff, looks through the truck.
Smelled the cocaine on you.
Say it, and then they finally go all this stuff, and then he goes, and he says, "Well, you're okay with everything and stuff for you. Ran that stop sign." I said, "No, I stopped, and I can't." Are you saying that I don't know what I'm talking about?
Uh-oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now
you argued with him, didn't you?
The inside voice says,
Yeah.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
But my outside voice says, well, which is the same as saying it.
Well, I mean,
Well,
whatever you say, sir, that's what you say.
Badge fits, wear it.
Yeah. Whatever you say I did, I must
I get
have
a
did.
ticket, and the ticket was like it was like a $400 ticket.
For running a stop sign?
Yes.
Wow.
Because it had all these different codes and stuff written down, and I'd be lucky I just gave you this, didn't take you in for being argumentative. That's considered
resisting,
resisting without violence and all. So I go, I'm just glad to get out of here. So I go up, and my wife's on the side of the road about 2 miles up. I see her flashers on, so I flash the lights, and she gets behind me, and we just go, and that's it. So the next day I come to work, and I go upstairs. We're in this office building, and I go upstairs to the lawyer that comes down and gets T-shirts off of me and stuff like that, and says, I tell him what happened, right? And he goes, where was that? I told him what county it was, and he goes, oh,
they're famous for that.
Yeah. He says, but let me make a call, and I'll get back to you. So I said, okay. So he gets back to me. The next day comes down and says, hey, man, good news or bad news? The good news is the ticket doesn't exist anymore. The bad news, the price of the ticket still does.
That's mixed news.
And then and you're to write out, you get a certified check, and you write it out to Judge blah blah blah.
To the judge,
yes,
not to the court.
To this day, if you look up my record in Mississippi, you'll see 0 citations on my record, and I have 2 of them that I know of. I got.
But the judge had a nice weekend in Biloxi on you.
Yeah, $400. You got a couple of pops in them. That's for sure.
Good for him.
Erica and Mark. The phone call.
Okay.
No more ticket stories because I got a ton of them, and I don't want to talk about any of them because some of the statute of limitations may not be up.
May not have worn out. Mine probably didn't either, but I did. So I'm a little concerned with this thing here. I'm glad I'm not in the workforce anymore because I don't know if I've ever done this or not, and I'm not sure if you've ever done this before, but have you ever been considered or ever thought of yourself as you might be a jiggler? Not a gigolo. Not a juggalo.
What is a jiggler?
A jiggler.
No, I have not considered that.
You
No.
never jiggled anything?
Don't know what that means.
I mean, when I first heard it, I thought, well, yeah, I was 13 once. Of course I was a jiggler, but it's not the same. It's not the same.
I don't really dance, so.
Wells Fargo.
What? What are you laughing at?
I don't really dance.
I
That caught
don't.
me off guard. First thing popped in my head was that song by what the heck's his name?
What, the Insane Clown Posse? The
No,
Juggalos?
He's an actor now. I can't. LL Cool J.
Ah.
He's jiggling, baby.
Yeah, I don't know that song.
Okay, never mind.
Now, the first thing that popped into my head was like, did you say gigolo or juggalo?
Yeah, Juggalo. No, not a
Because that
Juggalo.
popped into my head.
See, Wells Fargo just fired a handful of people, and it
For
was
being juggalos?
for being a jiggler,
A jiggler.
not a juggalo.
I can see them getting fired for being a juggalo, though.
Yeah, because they are considered.
All right.
Aren't they like in the top 5 of most dangerous according to the FBI?
Yeah, they're right up there with like.
There might be
the
6 now.
outlaws.
That MAGA's probably above that now.
I don't know, man. They're up there with the Hell's Angels. Those are people you don't mess with. You're just like, hey, you have a nice day. I'm gonna go other way.
So apparently they tried to fight this in court, and it's a true thing. Here's what happened.
What the hell is a jiggler?
Well, my son, I asked my son if he knows what I'm talking about. He knew exactly what I was talking about right away because he works from home. He does sales, online sales for a real big company.
So he's a jiggler. Is he a jiggler?
No, he's not a jiggler, but he knows what he's talking about. See, they send you a computer,
Yeah.
and a mouse and a whole workstation.
Oh, people who are paying attention to your keystrokes when you're working remotely.
Everything that's your thing. And there's a thing that people found out. If you jiggle the mouse pad, jiggle your mouse.
Resets it.
Yes.
The
And it
timer,
looks like-
that's- yeah.
Yes, and you look like you're doing something.
Oh, for
So you
Christ's sake.
jiggle every couple of. I mean, just work for crying out.
I thought this was going to be a sexy story. Like, it's girls walking down the hallway shaking their asses.
You know, the only thing funny
No.
about it was the setup, actually. Now the story's lost luster for me, too.
So you could get fired for just not. So what if you're at work and you're
Listen,
not
I'm going to tell
jiggling?
you, because of people like jigglers, I could have had another. Well, I might have handled one more year, and then I would have had a couple of meetings where we had DEI training, and I would have been quit. But I mean, I could have got another year out of my work because I worked from home. But they said no more working from home. You had to go to the radio station
Because they didn't trust all the jigglers in the office.
right, because there was jigglers in the company. So let that be. If you're working from home, don't be a jiggler.
I certainly hope they're not keeping track of me.
Don't jiggle
Jeez.
it. That's why I was wondering if the fact that you don't know what one is makes me feel like you're an honest person, and you're not.
I am an honest person. No, I work late. I don't charge them extra for working late. I'm on salary.
You put a lot of hours in. You really
Yeah,
do. And I'm not
I
saying
do.
that because you're my friend, but I mean, you really do work.
Yeah, I mean, I know. So it's nice where I work because we treat each other like adults. The bosses treat us like adults. They're like, hey, you know what your jobs are. Just get them done. I don't care how or when. Get them done. And
That's the way it
we
should
do.
be, honestly.
yeah, it's
Seriously,
kind of
that's the way
nice.
it should be.
Yeah, that's one of the perks of working here is the amount of freedom. Hey, you need to go to the doctor? Go. You need to pick your kid up? Go. You need to take a day off, unexpectedly? Fine. Just don't do it all the time. Just go. You know what your job is. It's I don't know why everybody, that's what drives me crazy about living in a condo, because it's the opposite of living in I don't know why I didn't just go move into an apartment. Probably because the condos are quieter, but here in the condo complex where I just moved a couple of weeks ago,
Right.
my daughter can't park in my driveway in front of my garage door, or she might get towed
Because?
because she doesn't have a parking sticker on the back of her car, even though that is the proprietary space which easily fits a car right in front of my garage door. So
That's she's the visitor.
but when anyone comes to my house, I got to pull my car outside and they got to pull their car into my garage. And because I have a sticker on my car, I park my car in my driveway.
No visitor parking?
Yeah, it's kind of around the corner. It's not convenient to get to, especially if it's raining. So, but this is the world that I live in here. These fucking people think that I can't handle who's going to park in front of my driveway, so they're going to tow them if they don't have a sticker. That is ridiculous.
That's kind of so Florida, though, because the retired people that are on the condo committees are crazy people.
Oh my God! I just want to just shake them. I want to shake them, shaking baby syndrome them, just until they die or leave the condo committee.
I told you about the people that would go with the yardstick and measure grass.
Oh yeah, I had that in one of the communities I lived in too when I had a house. Yep, I got a letter once for not edging my grass after I cut it because it was summer and it was hot. I'm like, I'll just do it tomorrow. And no, there was a letter the next day in my mailbox about not edging my grass. I'm like, it's raining. What do you want to do it in the rain? Yes.
I told you about the letter I got here, right, for the fence. Did I ever tell you that?
What did you do?
We get a letter, and it's the fence. It's our fence faces the back of the roadway that comes up into our. We live in Crestwood, and it's the Crestwood.
So you face the
Boulevard.
road.
We
so
face
you,
that Crestwood. The
so
back
what?
of our house.
You're offending people on the road with your fence.
So the fence. Well, everyone has to have fences, and then we have our fence and everything. But you have to take care of. You got to maintain your fence. So, and it's Louisiana, just like Florida. It's the dry rot capitals of the world.
Louisiana used to be a part of Florida. It was called West Florida,
yes.
where you live
Actually,
right
that's
now.
where I live right now is West Florida. Yeah. So we get this letter, and it's very to the point. Like, we noticed this in the back of your house, and you must fix this fence within the next 30 days, or fines will be assessed at such and such dollar per day until it gets fixed. So I'm going, there's nothing wrong with our fence.
A little dry rot down there on the grass line, maybe.
So I had to drive all the way around to the other side to see, and I'm looking, I'm going, there's nothing wrong with our fence. And then I see the neighbor right next door. Mm-hmm. She's got a brick like where the fence should be, and like that stuff. I said, okay, this is probably her. So I took a picture of mine.
Yep.
At my back in my house. I took a picture of her back, and I said, the one that doesn't have the damage is 421. Not sure, so you sent it to the wrong house. Didn't say who the other one was. Just said, but this is my back of my house, and it's not it. Then they said, okay, and then that was it. Not, we're sorry.
Just
this okay.
Go F yourself. Nothing. Just okay.
No. Yeah, just okay. Yeah. And it was like, my word.
This is what the communists do. It's called communist dominium is what it's called. That's where I live. Didn't
they call them don't they call them like condo commandos or something like that? Or wasn't there something like that people would say in the condos? I know it was crazy. In Tamarack, remember when Tamarack was only old people?
Yeah.
Okay. In Tamarack, when my dad took over the pool company from my grandfather, he had all the Tamarack Mainland Section 1, 2, 3. He had all those first 20 or so sections, the pools inside the area for the old people. Mm-hmm. And on the summertime, that's one place I didn't complain about going, because guess where all the Jewish granddaughters were on summer vacation? At the pool.
Uh-huh.
And the voice was annoying, but everything else was okay.
Shiksas.
Yeah. So, but it was like every little thing. Like if you parked the truck, you had to park at a certain spot, and then you had to carry those 5-gallon chlorine jugs like a half a mile away, because they didn't want to. When they were coming to the pool, they didn't want to see the pool truck there.
There's so many there's so many condo stores. That, you know what, things like the parking situation here, that's what stops me from buying a place in a condominium. Like, I would love to buy a place like I could easily afford it. Getting hit with an assessment would be, kind of a worry, but they're very affordable. It's very nice in here. It's very quiet. And some would argue, well, it's so nice in here because we keep the riffraff out. That's probably maybe a little bit true, but
there's some truth to that.
You can't let me handle my goddamn driveway. Really? You think I don't have the tow truck down? Funnier story. The guy who
and
has
your daughter's car is nice.
Yes, it's a lovely red Volkswagen GTI.
It's not like she's pulling in with.
She's not driving a shit box. She's driving a nice car.
That's different.
You think I can't handle calling the phone number is out there for the towing company. And funny story, the man who owns the towing company is a very good friend of mine. When I told him I was moving in here, he was like, "Oh, you're fine. We have that place." And I was like, "What?" And he's like, "Yeah, you won't get towed. We all know your car." I'm like, "Oh, I can park wherever the hell I want." So I didn't even put a sticker on my car. So I don't think they're going to tow me. But anybody else parked in my driveway, you got to worry about, because apparently I'm not mature enough to worry about somebody parking in my driveway. They're going to do it for me.
Yeah, I know. I mean, of course you're going to complain. You can't get out of your house.
Okay, well then I'll just, hey, tow truck company, there's somebody parked in front of my garage.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like,
Come get them.
of course you can handle that.
But no, these guys are just going to preemptively tow anybody parked in my driveway that doesn't have a sticker. Anybody. And I've lived in condos and apartments before that have garages. And as a matter of fact, I just came from one that did not have that strict of a towing policy. Never in the once of history of ever in the 6 years I lived there did anybody have a problem with somebody parking in front of their garage. It's just not a thing people do. People just kind of know I shouldn't park in front of that garage because there's probably a car in there, and that's not where I'm going.
That's not. They're more likely to park maybe along in front of your property.
The worst that they're going to do is park in a parking space that doesn't have visitor marked on it. They're not going to park in front of my damn garage.
That's dumb.
It just doesn't happen.
No,
but
here, parking in somebody else's assigned spot, yes.
Yeah, but here, it damn sure it doesn't happen, because they'll just tell your ass for parking in your own friggin'. If I park in my own driveway, I'm at risk of getting towed without a sticker. That's right. This has been Erica's Soapbox.
Well, speaking
Thanks
of stickers,
for coming to my TED
put a
Talk.
lot of stickers on your car already.
There are some stickers. No, there's stickers on my car.
That's real?
Well, so I have this boring white Porsche SUV. It looks like an egg. And I'm like, I got to do something to this thing. So the old racing livery that used to be on the Porsches in the 70s and 80s and 90s, and even until now, from the Martini, like Martini and Rossi, the Martini logo, the red, white, and blue, and two different blues on the Martini logo. I found the stickers on the internet, and they're good, high quality 3M. It's a whole kit. It goes over the hood, the roof, and the boot of the car, and down along the side. It's like $200.
It almost
for
looked
these
to me
stickers.
like what you did was you looked at me like you wrapped it.
No, that's what I want it to look like, but those are very expensive. This was like $200. And then I have a friend who has a wrap company, and he did the professional, perfectly straight, amazing installation for me. And I just paid him in some cash, and it took care of him. And now I don't have a boring egg anymore. I have a car that all the cops know. Now that I say it out loud, that's probably not the best thing I ever did.
Yeah, because there's a lot of white SUVs, man.
Yeah, I was blending really nicely, wasn't I? And now it was the car promoting drinking and driving that says Martini. They did it.
I have a what do you call it there? I have a white SUV too, and it's when you go into the parking lot, you realize how many white SUVs are, and you really do blend in nicely.
I had that same thing happen to me. That's why I had to do something. And when am I ever going to own a Porsche again? Probably never.
God forbid you put a parking sticker on the back of it.
Ugh.
Is it ugly? Is it big?
What, the parking sticker?
Yeah.
I don't want a goddamn sticker on my car that just says, "This is where you live, and here's what your number is, so we won't tow you."
Oh, it's got all that stuff.
Yeah.
Huh?
First of all, I have a garage. I'm just going to park in my garage. Everything's fine. You can smell the communism when you come through the gates.
Erica and Mark. The phone call.
1924, people predicted what they expected out of 2024.
It was 100 years ago, Mark. How could they possibly know?
Well, they just thought, and some of the things got pretty close, like this one here.
Were people getting their steam-powered cars towed from the front of their barn?
But they did have the apartment complex down right, because they predicted that they seen 100-story tall buildings in the air, where people were going to be told what they can and can't do. And have a parking sticker on the back of their horse.
They did not say that.
But they were close though, and they also predicted subways.
Subways. So weren't subways a thing 100 years ago?
Underground trains. That would think. Yeah, I guess not. Here's something that's kind of neat too. Home movies. Believe it or not, they said there was going to be a movie in every home.
I can see that because they had silent movies back then. The talkies had not come out yet.
But everybody, you had to remember, there was no TV.
Right.
There was only radio.
You had to go to the theater if
You
you
had to
wanted
go
to see
to a theater to see a movie. Yeah.
see a silent movie with a piano player.
Yeah.
Back in your day, back when you were in high school.
Actually, I was right before that. I remember when they were talking about it.
All right. I remember when they invented talkies.
Well, they weren't talking. They were doing this. And then words would be written underneath.
Right. Yes. Subtitles, those are called.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Trains will be traveling twice or 3 times as fast as they do now. That's what they said.
Oh, bold statement. How fast did they travel back then?
Steam engine. I don't know. What do you think?
I don't know,
I bet you probably got a good speed. What do you? I bet you would have bet 40, 50 miles an hour.
How
that would probably be
fast
considered
did-
like super fast, right?
Go 100 years ago. Let's see. I would ask Cove that, but my phone's way over there. Oh, wow. There was a rivalry between the New York Central Railroad and the Hudson Railroad, and apparently they had steam engines that could go over 100 miles an hour.
Holy cow, that's a lot faster than I expected.
But typically trains traveled no faster than 18 miles an hour. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah, but
So
they
that's
did have them that could
they
go fast.
did have them, so they knew that eventually they're all going to go fast.
Back in 1885, they had one that was capable of 88 miles an hour.
Wait a minute. Okay, so you said the average one did about 18 miles an hour?
Yeah.
See what the average one is now. I bet you it's probably more what I said, 50 or 60, right?
Average
They sure don't look like they're moving very fast.
of a train. Depends on where you live.
And we pass them.
The average speed of a train on the Union Pacific Railroad is now a blistering 23 miles an hour.
Oh, my God. Nothing's changed.
The average speed is influenced by network fluidity. No, there's just more train tracks and more congestion and more traffic, and they got to time them out. It's all about math. Please watch the Denzel Washington movie. The hell's the name of the movie? What's the name of the movie where he's a train conductor? You don't remember that?
Oh, yes. That's a great movie. Oh, I forgot
Yes.
about that one. Where he had to figure out the...
Unstoppable. That's what it
Yeah.
was called.
I'm gonna
Yes.
write that down. 'Cause
And
I
it-
do
and
wanna-
it-
I
and it
really-
took place
this time
in
I'm
a-
actually going to see that one because I've seen it once before. It was great.
From 2010. It took place in a very fictional place called Southern Pennsylvania, which I didn't know that was a thing.
Doesn't
There's-
exist.
No, there's Eastern, Central, and Western. There's no
There's
Southern.
no north or south.
No, we don't do that up there. We don't make people go live in the South. You go live
South
in the
PA.
South. You go live in South PA. Yeah, that was glaring error.
let me see. Motion pictures 100 years from now will be so nearly real that a living person or existing object pictured that you'll be unable, sitting in your orchestra seat, to determine whether the picture is real or a movie.
These people were prophets.
They were time travelers.
Yeah, they knew all about Jurassic Park in 1993. Was that movie? That was when we were all like, "Well, dinosaurs are real. Those were actual dinosaurs." PETA was complaining because they wanted to make sure the dinosaurs were treated humanely.
Yeah.
Yes, that's how good it was.
Okay, the wrong. You ready for the wrong?
Yeah.
They said that New York would have a population of over 30 million and with no transit problems.
Yes.
They have 8.5 million today, and they have, when the trains are running, the only thing you have to worry about is getting stabbed on one.
The biggest problem New York City has is the piss smell that you never seem to get rid of, depending on what time of year it is. It's a cold piss smell in the winter and steamy in the summer.
Here's another one here. Jazz music will be considered classical.
Oh, that's true. That's kind of true.
Yeah. It said apparently, let me see, while jazz music and classical still aren't seen as on the same level, there are some classic jazz artists who will seemingly be listened to as long as some of the great composers.
Jazz was very controversial back in the 1920s because that's what all the kids were listening to when they were smoking their marijuanas.
Well, I think it's because the black people were, right? And then the white kids
That's
hooked on
part
to
of it,
and
yes.
then everybody was so afraid that if you keep listening to that, you're going to turn black.
Any good white music we have was stolen from black people.
Exactly. Honest to goodness. You ever
It's
hear
true.
like a Little Richard record and then hear Pat Boone do it?
Did you ever hear, who is it? A little, not Little Richard, Chuck Berry play guitar and then listen to Keith Richards play guitar? I
Yeah.
dare you to tell the difference. You can't. It's the same picture.
Yeah. Sir H. Kinsley boldly predicted in 1924 that by today the average life expectancy would be at least 100 years.
Ooh.
But actually today it's only 71 years. So tick, tick, tick. It'll be you and Cove pretty soon, people.
Okay.
I want to get 6 more years to go.
I wonder what it would cost me to have my consciousness uploaded to hang out with Cove.
I thought you were going to say, how much would it cost you to get rid of me quicker?
No, I would never say that. Why would you even
How
suggest
about the
such a
inside
thing?
voice?
I don't know what you're talking about, Mark.
Okay, they're very wrong now. Here we go. World peace via cinema. One clipping reads, in the year 2024, the most important single thing which the cinema will have helped in a large way. This is absolutely hilarious.
What?
Is eliminating civilized world. Let me see. Eliminating from the face of the civilized world all armed conflict.
Oh,
my God.
that's so
I'm like,
nice.
Yeah, I know, but let's face it, man. The movie theater is making people more angry
Yeah, about movie theater.
because it's government propaganda.
They didn't know about the internet, apparently. They
Yeah.
didn't see that coming.
Here's another one. Goodbye, diamond rings.
Oh, that'd be nice.
One prediction claimed that the diamond supply would be exhausted within 100 years.
Huh. They didn't foresee synthetic diamonds.
They said sugar would be the way to go. A synthetic gem made from sugar.
Sugar.
I wonder if they're really doing that.
Yeah, you have a bunch of fat brides sucking on their rings all the time.
Yeah.
Oh, sugar.
Just don't tell them. Child flinging beds. This is my favorite. They must have been watching the Jetsons. Child flinging beds. Here's one parents of
not the
teenagers
worst
might
idea.
wish actually came true.
Yeah.
Instead of an alarm clock, kids would be thrown out of bed.
You know, every parent thinks that their teenager is the worst, and it's not true. Teenagers are just the worst, no matter what the generation
Yes.
is. And then it's like I always tell everybody who are having kids, I'm like, hey, just remember this for later. I know they're really cute right now when they're a baby, but at some point they're going to become teenagers and you're going to want to kill them. And that's why they make babies so cute when they're little. So you remember that you don't kill them when they're teenagers. But it's also being a teenager is a form of temporary insanity.
They will wear you out quick.
Yes,
Even the
but
good
it passes.
Ones.
It passes.
Even the good ones, yeah.
Yes, but it does pass.
And I know personally that it was like, I remember when my kids were starting to give me a lot of grief. I remember calling my mom one night, and I just started sobbing, and she's like, "What's the matter, Mark?" And I said, "I'm so sorry for what I did to you." Because you hear that.
Yeah.
Remember the old slogan,
You're gonna
"One of
have a
these
kid
days,
just
you're gonna
like
have a kid
you."
just
Yeah.
like you, and you're gonna know what it feels like."
All the time, my mom said that to me.
And you will. Honestly,
Yeah.
you will.
Yeah, kids are nothing more than walking bundles of karma. So just remember that before you have a kid.
That's beautiful.
That's true.
That's beautiful. So, do you want to end here with something from a show? Can you get us something to me before the beginning of next, or by the beginning of next week of part of?
Yeah, I guess I
old
could.
show?
If you really think people want to hear that, do you think people are listening this far into this show?
I think so.
You want to inflict another old show on them from 30 years ago? Do you hate everyone listening right now that much?
Well, we could always say, "Well, we'll take we'll take a survey," but then we'll get disappointed there too. So
Yeah. Wow, how many people did you get in your survey? Well, my sister listened, and she didn't.
Although,
say
by the
anything.
way, speaking of surveys, I may or may not have gotten my first Nielsen
you
survey.
can't. Oh, I guess you can because
I
you're
can.
retired now.
The question is very clear.
Wow.
Do you or anyone in your family work in the media? The answer? Negative.
No, not at all.
Negative. Nobody works in the media in my family.
Technically, having a podcast is the media.
Oh, is it?
I don't know. You tell me.
I do also operate an internet radio station. Wait a minute.
Whoa,
What?
there's two things.
Oh,
You know who can help us? You know
I
who
got to
can
give
help
them
us
their
with this?
$5 back. I got to give them their $5
Did
back.
you take their money, Mark?
No, well, they give you $1, but then they're going to see whether or not they want to have me.
Hold
But
on.
one- I already-
Hold on.
I-
this
but
is
tell-
this is a question for Cove. I'm going to ask Cove right now.
Okay.
Let's see what he says. All right, I've been invited to participate in a survey for the Nielsen Company to look at the ratings for radio and television. And I'm retired, but I have a podcast. So is it still considered being a part of the media if I have a podcast? And is it okay to participate in the Nielsen ratings survey? Let's see what old Covey Cove thinks. Let's see. Is he talking?
Having a podcast doesn't typically classify you as part of the traditional media, especially when it comes to surveys like the Nielsen ratings, which focus on television and radio. Since you're retired and not actively working in the media industry, participating in the Nielsen survey should be fine.
See, now it's going to think I'm retired, and it's going to start sending me AARP shit, and that's all I need.
I'm going to tell you, one thing you're going to not like right off the bat is your junk mail increases 100-fold because all you're getting is Medicare supplement information.
That's going to be tough for the mailman because I get the mail about once a month, if that. And it's all just shoved in there, and it all goes straight into the garbage can.
Well, I'm sure you're probably like a lot of people do nowadays where everything is, all your bills and everything come online.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. For
paperless,
I haven't had a home phone since the 20th century is the last time I had a home phone.
But it is my current wife right now. We just finally 2 days ago opted for the online bill from the electric company.
So you've been just stroking a check and getting a stamp and mailing it to them the whole time?
Yeah. Oh, she has a gigantic book of stamps.
Oh my God. I found my checkbook when I moved, and it's from like 3 addresses ago. I'm like, well, I still have that account. That's still good, huh? I could probably write those checks.
She still writes checks and everything. Yeah.
I haven't written a check. It's gotta be 2010 is probably the last time I wrote anything from a checkbook.
But I found myself like some of the more modern stuff is okay, but
do you know about Zelle? Do you know about PayPal?
Yes,
do you know about?
Yeah, I don't like PayPal at all because I don't like his politics. But I do use Zelle, and I don't know anything about their politics. And I got to stay out of people's politics, so I can still use their products.
Hey, let me tell you something. Roger Waters doesn't like the Jews. You gonna stop listening to Pink Floyd?
Oh, I'm gonna have to.
Oh, for God's sake!
Why'd you tell me that? I heard that story but it was coming from Ozzy Osbourne's wife, and I thought she was crazy.
Oh, Sharon Osbourne, who talks like this the whole time.
She says she's Jewish. Do you think that?
I mean, sure.
What was her first name?
Sharon.
First name, right? Sharon. Was it Sharon Fine or something? Or
I don't know, man. You can be Jewish if you want. Who cares?
I understand that, but I didn't know she was Jewish.
I don't
she
even
said
care.
She was Jewish.
I don't care about people's politics. Roger Waters can be as much of an anti-Semite as he wants. He's not coming to my house for dinner.
Honestly, it's okay as long as it doesn't. As long as you're not. He's not really selling a product anyway. He's just trying to be relevant.
You giving him money? No. So who cares?
And Floyd is much bigger than him anyway.
Correct. And Pink Floyd is also still, he hasn't been in Pink Floyd since 1983.
Yeah. And you know, you got to remember Syd Barrett was also a big part of Floyd and everything else. So it's,
look, like, are you pro acid? Because if you're not, you can't like Pink Floyd because that's what happened to Syd Barrett. Fried his little brain.
Oh yeah. I read some stories about him.
That guy had a good time, didn't he? He ended up living in his mother's basement, wondering who he was and how he got there.
Oh gosh.
Drugs are bad, kids. We're going to end on that. Drugs are bad.
Yes. And thank you for listening.
I'm
Even
sorry.
if you're in prison.
And I'd like to say I'm sorry you had to hear all of that and this.
How many prisoners do you think are in that listening to us?
I'm gonna Google that. Probably none. They don't really have the internet in prison, do they, Mark?
Oh, I don't know. I thought they got everything there, like cables, 3 Square, all kinds of stuff.
Well, if you'd gone to a talent show one time, you would know.
No one.
Pussy.
Erica and Mark.
Oh gosh.
The phone call.